Just start singing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Exercise Your Enthusiasm. This is the 8th episode of our 5th season. And today the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode we'll be discussing is the end. No, this isn't the end of the entire series. This is the end of Season 5. Season 5, Episode 10, The End, which debuted on December 4th, 2005. I don't know how to tell you people that. In the season finale, Larry learns who his real parents are and flies to Arizona to meet them. After a life-changing religious revelation, Larry decides to give Richard Lewis a kidney. Will Larry survive the operation, or is it the end? Okay, spoiler alert, he survives. I hate to be this person. I don't want to be this person because I love the show. I love all of it. And I don't want to be a back-in-my-day guy. I mean, this is after my day anyway, so what do I give a shit? It's not like I had anything to fucking do with it. It's 2005. Is season 5, like, is this the real sweet spot for Curb? Like, I mean, it's over 20 years ago now. Even just the look of it, I feel like if you had to pick okay, this is the definitive perfect era, it might be season 5. I'm not saying it's the best season. I'm just saying if we had to pick, this is the quintessential in terms of look, feel, plot. The plot is, it's one of my favorite. The whole, he goes and meets his parents who are Gentiles, which is, I think he was the last person in human history ever to use the word Gentile in normal conversation. Anyway, yeah, so the end. We're going to get into that in a minute. Don't forget that this season of XMAS Enthusiasm is brought to you by Cheetos. Cheetos, fuck you. We know you eat them. Anyway, but first I want to talk about, of course I want to talk about me, because talk about what you know. It's me. So I went down to Richmond this weekend, hung out with my goddaughter, who told me she loves, she's 6, and she told me she loves my beard, but not me. So, but anyway, I had a great time. Put my tootsies up, watched some awful TV. By that I mean Vanderpump Rules. Don't get me started. I hate everybody. But then, so this morning I was getting on the Amtrak on the train to come back. It's a lovely trip. It's 2 hours, $30, yada yada yada. But the train station at Staples Mill, it's a Staple Mills or Staples Mill? It's like Attorneys General or Attorney Generals. Staples Mill? Staple Mill. Anyway, I'll leave that to my researchers to look up. So usually, yeah, you line up. It's like a small standalone train station. To board the train, you kind of stand outside the line. Then the train comes, stops, hopefully, and then you go through. You walk up in front of the train on what I guess they call the platform. I mean, it's what we call where you stand on the subway platform. I don't know what the same thing is for Amtrak, but anyway, so you'd walk in front of the train, and then you take a right, and then you walk alongside the train, and there'd be a couple of conductors or whatever, the guys that take your tickets, like 2 or 3, say, hey, here's where you hop on for coach. Or hey, all right, busted. I take coach like a normal person. All right, hey, a little peek behind the curtain. I put my pants on like you when I wear pants. So that's usually how it goes. And I'm always early. I'm always like an hour early because anytime I travel, I always assume anytime don't show up like an hour before, they're like, you know what? Fuck this asshole. We're taking off. And they leave me. So I'm usually, if not the first or second, I'm in the top 10 of the line when we're standing there. So this morning, I'm like, there's a couple people ahead of me, but I'm standing there. And it's like 20 minutes before the train's supposed to come. And all of a sudden, this woman from Amtrak walks up, rolls the gate back, and releases us. And she's like, all right, train 84, blah, blah, blah. And we start walking across the platform, across the track where the train is going to come. And then we all just start walking down the platform. Now, so I'm freaking out because I'm like, the train's not here. I don't know. I don't know where to stand. I don't know where to, And I overheard the Amtrak woman say, for regular coach, all right, God damn it, I get it. I'm a regular person, just like you. Get over it. Stand by F, and F is like, I don't know, they have these letters hanging. I'd never noticed them before because it just never needed to. They're like gates almost, but they're not because it's just spaces. and I heard her say the letter F. And so, we're walking, and I'm like, well, I guess F is where one of the places we're going to board. So I stop, but everybody keeps going. They're all filing past me, just streaming past me. And I start getting panicky. I'm like, what if they all go to the car and get seats, and I'm standing like an asshole on F, and then I got to go running down to Z, and everybody's everybody's in their seats, and by the time I get there, they're all buddies. They get fucking making plans to go to goddamn Jackson Hole and ski together. They're doing the baby Watusi, eating baby egg rolls, and I'm standing for the whole thing. And of course, long story short, the train comes pulling in, and where I'm at, like, the doors opens perfectly. So a lot of panic for no reason. So then I get on the car, and there's like 8 people. Like, there's not a lot of people going from Richmond to D.C. on a Tuesday morning. So there's like 5 or 6 of us in the entire car. So I plop down. I'm going to spread out. And then some idiot, my words, not yours, plops down. So I'm sitting in the window. Then there's a seat. Then there's an aisle. Then there's a seat. And then there's another window seat directly across, aisles. He plops down in the window seat across from me, like, so we can see each other. And I'm like, what the fuck? I look at him, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this car's so empty, we could be fucking naked in our respective seats and no one would notice. By that, I mean, I kind of looked outside and hoped that he could tell by the back of my head that I really, really would prefer he'd sit somewhere else. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like when, you know what it's like? It's like when people, like, you sit down at a fast food restaurant, it's a table for 2, and you're just sitting there, and there's a table, you're looking at a table in front of you, a table for 2, and some idiot comes in with his food and plops down in the seat so that he's facing you. I'm like, why would you not fucking sit so your back is to me? Because now it's this awkward, we're looking at each other eating. Are we on a fucking date? I don't understand people. This is one of the things where I don't understand people. There's something missing. I don't know. I feel like I'm the normal one there. I think there's something fucked up with that person. So then I finally got over that. We're cruising. And usually on these trips, once we hit Fredericksburg, which is about an hour in, halfway through, I start to get going for the morning. I want my coffee. I want some water. I want a little something to eat. So I go and I order. So I go to the cafe car. There's no one there, and I say, "Hey, I'd like a coffee, a bottle of water, and a cup of fruit." And okay, by cup of fruit I mean a fucking hot dog. Okay, fucking sue me. All right, it's protein. It's nothing but protein. What am I better off getting the goddamn Jimmy Dean sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin or whatever? No, fuck you. The hot dog's probably healthier. It's protein and doesn't have any other shit. So he's like, cool, and he whips it up, and we're standing there. It's just the 2 of us, like, for 2 unbearable minutes. And I even thought for a second, like, gee, usually there's somebody else in the cafe car, but whatever, in line, I don't fucking. Bing! The convection oven goes off, pulls on my hot dog, which is at a nice 9,000 degrees, while steaming itself. Water, coffee, boom, plops in, and then he sees me pulling out my credit card, and he goes, well, whoa, he goes, credit card machine's down right now. I'm looking, I'm like, why didn't you fucking say this before we went through this dance together of, cooking? By that I mean I kind of raised my eyebrow. And he goes, I go, oh. And he goes, and then he looks at me like I'm crazy. And he says, you don't have cash? And I'm like, what the I'm like, I'm an old man. Like, I am from the generation when you did carry cash around. Like, I know young people, you don't even know that. You don't even know that's like. So, but even me, in 2018, I'm always slightly surprised when somebody pays with cash, or you have to pay with cash, or when I reach in my pocket and I find some cash, which is what happened. So now I'm putting on my best. I'm rolling my eyes like, oh, good. But then I realized I was reaching in my pocket for my phone. I realized, oh shit, I have $20. And the bill's like, it's probably fucking $14 or something ridiculous. But I realized I'd gotten cash to pay for a wreath that a friend of mine had bought, like from some old lady. So, and I realized, oh shit, I had the cash. But I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I've already done the indignant cash. What the? And so I'm like, you know what? I could pay him. I could get my food and water and coffee. But you know what? I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. Fuck you. And I just kind of shrug my shoulders and walk out like, blammo, fuck you. Much thirstier and hungrier and in need of coffee was I for my cause. But I chalked it up to a little bit of a win. Very little. But anyway, another thing that bugs me today that I was met with, it always bugged me. So when you get an Uber or a taxi and you have a bag, like I have my bag, my luggage, my suitcase. Obviously I've been somewhere amazing for a couple of days. So I have my suitcase and my computer bag, so when a car pulls up, usually they pop the trunk. And 90% or 80% of the time, the driver will jump out like they're going to help you with the bag, throw it in the trunk. So, of course, I'm a human being, so I wave them off. I'm like, no, I'll throw it in there, I don't want you to fucking jump up and... I don't want... Especially if you're old. Like, I feel like if I stand there and watch and let some old person struggle with my bag with all my, Magnum condoms in it and Little League trophies... that's slinging this trunk. I feel like everybody I've ever known is going to suddenly see me and be like, you know what? I fucking knew it. He's an asshole. He's a douchebag. But, so I always wave him off. Like, hey, but I appreciate the effort. All I ask for is you to play the game. Just make the token, like, open your car door slowly, like you come out, and I will wave you off. It's a tacit arrangement. I get it. You pretend you're going to come out and help. I wave you off. I get to feel like I'm an amazing person. I think every girl I've ever had a crush on has watched me going, oh, he's so great. Look at that. Man of the people. He's wonderful. Play the game. So today, boom, pops the hood and just sits there. And so I got to do it all. And again, I don't care, but pretend to make the effort. That's all I ask. Play the game. I don't want to do a whole we're living in society thing, but play the fucking game. Don't get me started about the weather. I don't want to talk about the weather. It's fucking February, and it's 73 degrees outside. I don't even want to talk about the fucking winter coat I bought today. I got to wear for like no hours this season. Real quick, though, I will add, based on my Uber ride home tonight when I didn't have a driver who knew how to play the game, the song Tiny Dancer by Elton John. Is there a song that's more associated with a movie scene than Tiny Dancer? Like, I'm talking about, Tiny Dancer was a classic radio classic. Been around for like a million years. But can you hear it now in 2018 without thinking of Almost Famous? I can't. Is there any other example of a song like that was a classic, but then it's so instrumental to a scene in the movie, totally overwhelms it? And now, even after hearing that song for 20 years or whatever, you cannot hear it without thinking of a movie. I can't. I think Tiny Dancer is it. If you have a suggestion, just stick it in the comments. Fill in the comments of the XMAS Time post when we get to it. All right, let's get started with today's episode. Again, it is the end. And again, just like every episode of this season, Xmas Your Enthusiasm is brought to you by Cheetos. Cheetos, fuck you. We know you eat them. And so far this season, after 7 episodes, Larry's overall record is 32-41. So that gap is closing from season to season. So let's see how Larry does. Jump into this episode right now. Okay, right off the bat, I guess Jeff is selling Larry his car. And Larry's like, how much? And Jeff's like, oh, I'll tell you I'll go find out what the blue book value is. And I just have a feeling this is going to evolve into one of those two insanely rich people are going to haggle over some nominal number and destroy each other or something like that. Anyway. Oh, and the big news for the actual episode. I'm only kind of updating because it is a finale, so it'll probably be important. It's Lewis, Richard Lewis's cousin, came out of his coma, so now that may affect who gives up a kidney for Richard. Our season finales of this, a little more pressure on me as a podcaster for you people. I don't know. Why ask? Of course it is, but it's what I do for you. Even though you motherfuckers couldn't even bother to call in to last week's first ever live call-in show. Couldn't bother to fucking hit a button on your phone. Whatever, I've moved on. I do not care. Okay, so now the delightfully named Lewis comes out of a coma. I forget how long. And Larry immediately bombards him with, why aren't you going to give Richard your kidney? You're being selfish for not... And it's like, Larry barely even knows this fucking guy. The just came out of a coma. I don't even know why they let Larry in the room. And the guy's like, I've got a new lease on life. I'm keeping my kidney, whatever. Larry, I mean, that is just ugly. Even for Larry. I mean, this guy's basically a stranger and you're accosting him because you don't want to have to give up your kidney for your best friend in the world. 0-1, Larry David. Let me tell you something about Larry David, though. He would have picked up the fucking phone and called me last week during this call-in show. He wouldn't have liked it. He'd have bitched about it. He'd have been kind of shitty, but he'd have fucking done it, unlike you people. Anyway, again, 0-1 Larry. Okay, now Cheryl gets in, she's looking for the case for the Sopranos DVDs, and she has Larry if he had it, and he says he gets upset, offended even, because he's like, I have a system. When you take the take the DVD out, you leave the case on top of the TV and return it, da-da-da. It's like, all right, I have to give Larry this point, like, even though we know this is probably going to blow up in his face because curb your trek off or whatever we fucking call it, we know this is going to bite him in the ass. But he does seem like the type who would have a system. Now, I don't know why the system includes, the main part of it seems to be leave the case where you can't look at it while you're watching the show. I mean, that's a part of what these cases are for. If you look, what's in the episode, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but Larry wins that one. He probably does have a system, even though it'll probably blow his. So 1-1. And I have to point out, like I was saying earlier about how much there's something about the fifth season. This is the house I love. I mean, this room they're in, just like the episode where he had to fire the remote, the TV remote guy, because for some reason that was a thing that existed, a job that existed. Their house is just super cool. There's a ton of wood. They have this brown carpet, just super cozy house. I really love it. Anyway, 1-1 Larry. Okay, long story short, now Larry's on a plane since it's been confirmed by his private detective, Omar Jones, Mekhi Phifer, delightful all season, that he is in fact adopted. And he gets into an altercation with the flight attendant because he says, hey, I can't be sitting next to this, whatever the window is, the emergency exit. And on one hand, he has been sitting there for probably like an hour. I don't know why he didn't bring this up earlier because she's like, we're going to leave it. We were taking off in 3 minutes. But on the other hand, they're arguing. He's saying out loud, I cannot be counted on in this situation. Like, I can't believe the other passengers aren't speaking up. Like, hey, if this guy doesn't want to do it, because in this case, it does have to be safety first. I mean, God forbid something happen on this airplane and somebody has a eyewitness account of this flight attendant refusing to let this guy who, even though Larry was only in his mid-50s at this point, he does look like even then he looks like he's 95, explicitly saying, I cannot handle the responsibility that comes with this seat. And yet she's still dicking around like, nah, you can do it. Do you need a drink? She's like, maybe I can ply you with booze and you'll sit here. What the fuck is why even have this position or ask this question, are you comfortable sitting next to it, whatever? If, again, when this... what looks to be the oldest man on earth is saying, please get me out of the seat, you still don't want to do it. Now, in the end, she says, go find whatever. But Larry wins that. That is safety first. On an airplane, oh, hey, if I sit in this seat, I'm literally a danger to the lives of the other passengers. And you want to roll your eyes and say, can I get you a drink? Easy one for Larry. Sometimes it helps to have a bigger asshole in the airplane. Right, Larry? 2-1, Larry. There is a little bullshit even with his win, because then we're pummeled with like 30 seconds of shtick about him, as if he's never been on an airplane before. Also, the fact that he would be in what looks like hardcore economy. Come on there. That is the curb your bullshit moment of the episode. And that is, of course, brought to you by Cheetos. Cheetos, fuck you. We know you eat them. Also, fuck you for not fucking calling in last week's show. How about that? But we move on. how'd you like to be the ones cast as Larry David's parents? Like, the only qualification has to be must look older than God. I mean, these poor fuckers. Okay, now Larry finds out that they are, again, as he says, Gentile. He's like, oh, I'm a Gentile. Again, I think that was the last moment any human said that word, Gentile. Anyway. And the way he figures this out is after he realizes, he's like, where y'all from? And they're talking. And then he goes, wait, how do you spell your name? And they say C-O-N-E. And that's how he realizes, oh my gosh, they're not Jewish. And it's like, wait a minute. From the moment Omar Epps gave you their information, gave you their name, you flew to their house and bumfuck whatever, you didn't see how their name was spelled? Like, he didn't hand you a folder or document. There were no official documents. There was nothing he handed you with this couple's name. He said, oh, go see the Coens. They live in fucking Wisconsin. He's like, bye! I don't know why I get worked up, especially when I should focus on the fact that none of y'all motherfuckers called me last week. Anyway. Okay, now another example of, or version anyway, of the Maxim in our show that if anytime Larry David leaves his house, of course, by law, he has to bump into someone he knows. Now, in this case, it's not someone, it's something. He's wandering around the streets of the Midwest, and he bumps into a car that's for sale, that's the exact same car and year and model and everything as the one Jeff's selling him. And there's a sign in it with the exact price, and the guy who's selling it just happens to be standing there. And he says, I got that from the Kelley Blue Book. Of course, only Larry just happens to bump into the exact car for sale with the guy standing there and everything. What the fuck? Of course. And I knew it. I knew I'd love the montage of once he realizes he's a Gentile. And it does here he is at the ball game. Here he is drinking a beer. I do love how Larry David's under the assumption that the second you become non-Jewish, you're able to just spring on top of on the roof of a house and like hammer in shingles. I guess he thinks that's what all non-Jewish people are able to do. Well, I'll take it as a compliment, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, I got to stop jumping and commenting because it's running too long. But anyway, I love that little medley, collage. What am I trying to say? You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Montage? Is it montage? Okay, so now Larry goes and tells Richard after his epiphany back in his Midwestern true roots, he's going to come back and do the right thing like Jesus would. Comes and tells Richard, you know what, I'm going to give you a kidney. And Richard's grateful, but then Larry asks him to borrow a golf club. And Richard says no. Which is just, it's a little weird. I mean, and then Larry does the right thing for once. He doesn't even argue. He's about to, but then he says, you know what, I'm turning the other cheek or whatever. Even though didn't have as much of a back and forth as we like, I'm giving Larry the win there because if he had done anything close to that, would have ripped him to shreds. I mean, I don't know. Number one, Richard, you're sick. You may never golf again. Larry may get some joy out of these clubs. Are these magic clubs? Like, did you pull them out of Jack Nicklaus's ass or something? And Larry didn't say it because it shouldn't be said. He is giving you his kidney now. That doesn't mean you have to give him everything he wants, but the old borrow my golf club while I'm weeping with joy because of you doesn't seem like too far of a bridge. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to say that's a bigger asshole in the room thing because we love Richard, and this seems, I don't know if it's out of character, but it's a little weird. 3-1 Larry. Oh, ding, ding, ding. Larry's checking it, going to the hospital to have the surgery to take his kidney for Richard in. Who do we see? Craig Robinson, a.k.a. Daryl from The Office. We love you, Daryl. Let me tell you motherfuckers who would have picked up the phone last week and called me during my first time ever live call-in show. Daryl Philbin. Daryl would have called in, no problem. Unlike you. Question, I don't know nothing about nothing, but do these organ transplant places usually take them from 58-year-old men? Is that something? Is that a thing? I mean, I don't know. It just occurred to me. I don't know. That seems weird. Okay, and now Larry's in a coma. We cut to Larry's in a coma. It's 2 months later, and he comes out of his coma, and it turns out I think I had it wrong backwards. He's selling his car to Jeff, and Jeff lowballed him $5,000. He gave him the wrong quote from the Kelley Blue Book, and Larry bitches about it. And it's not a thing, but it's kind of setting up the rest of the scene. Anyway, I knew that was ridiculous. Oh, okay, blammo, Larry's dead. He goes up to heaven. It's very funny. There's Dustin Hoffman and Sacha Baron Cohen. I think when I first saw this, it was 20 years ago. I thought it was Kevin Nealon. But, and it turns out Larry's mother, Larry sees his mother, played by B. Arthur, hilarious. First, to have a little back and forth, she yells at him, what kind of schmuck would give away his kidney? And Larry's like, you got to give Larry the win for that. Larry is doing a nice thing. I don't know if their biggest dick thing, I don't know if that transfers into heaven, and it is his mother, so. And then, real quick, Larry wins the whole, why did you not make sure I was at your funeral thing? So that's 5-1 Larry this episode, but then she gets one real quick. Why were you so happy when you found out or thought you were adopted? Larry can't win that one. 5-2 Larry, so. The author would have called into our live call-in show last week. I know that fucking much. Okay, now Larry's arguing with his guides about the Sopranos DVD case thing, and they say, well, you actually don't have a system. And then Dustin Hoffman says that a system would be like you print out extra copies of the DVD covers and blah, blah. I even lost it. Nobody's fucking doing that. Larry has a system. The thing fell behind the couch. He fucked up, but it is a system. And nobody's going around fucking Kinko's and printing out copies of their DVD covers. 6-2 Larry. And don't forget this season of XMAS Enthusiasm is brought to you by Cheetos. Cheetos, fuck you. We know you eat them. Ooh, I have an interesting one here from out of nowhere because now they're just yelling at each other. Larry yells at Dustin Hoffman, fuck you for letting me do that TV guide cover, the Sopranos TV guide cover from years ago. And it's like, all right, that's kind of funny. But on the other hand, if you're going to do that, you also have to give them credit for having given you the whole Seinfeld thing to begin with. So that's a loss for Larry. I'm being a little heavy-handed there, but 6-3 Larry. Also, on another note, I did notice, at some point throughout all these things, I've mentioned that for some reason, Larry and Jerry Seinfeld himself, whenever they refer to Seinfeld, they always call it the Seinfeld Show. I've only ever heard the two of them do it, but they do it every time they refer to Seinfeld. Everyone else in the world says Seinfeld. But earlier in the scene, Dustin Hoffman was referring, as Larry's guide, was referring to Seinfeld, and he called it the Seinfeld Show, which is very interesting. Also interesting, the fact that none of you motherfuckers called me last week during my live call-in show, but we move on, and I ain't even worried about it. 6-3, Larry. I think I'm being a little tough there, but 6-3, Larry. I mean, we also have to, this is a rough, he just got to heaven. It is a rough transition. Although he did just find out that Marilyn Monroe wants to hump him. So, as Facts of Life said, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have fucking Curb. Okay, now because of his bitching and moaning, they've had enough, and they're sending him back to his life. He's not ready for heaven, and Larry's like, "What? No, let me stay." And he starts, I don't know if he says I'm sorry, but he's like, "Oh, just because of this, I didn't mean this, I didn't mean that," and that is tough. Larry can't lose. That's 7-3, Larry. That has to be going from heaven to earth. If this was something that could happen, you go up, you die, you go to heaven. How you doing, guys? This is my new thing. This is awesome. Marilyn Monroe wants to wink, wink, yada, yada. I'm playing golf with Ben Hogan. And then they can send you back. That is the most extreme possible case of going to first class back to the back of the coach by the bathrooms, right? That has to be, there literally cannot be a more extreme version than that. But we're very sympathetic to Larry because he's bummed out. He didn't mean for his bitching to turn to this, and fuck these guys for doing it. 7-3 Larry, pretty good. Also, according to Larry David, I'm just noticing everything in heaven is beige, white or beige. Very weird, like the inside of any Sopranos home. I just said that without thinking. Is that because of the whole Sopranos DVD thing? Did I just blow my own mind? God, I wish I could listen to me. You people don't know how lucky you are. Whew. It must be like what it was like listening to Michelangelo paint. Okay, now what could have wrapped up the episode nicely with going 7-3. Nice number. Larry fucks it up. For some reason, they have it at the very end. Daryl from the office says, "Oh, since you're leaving the hospital after this death experience, we can roll you in a wheelchair out to your car just for whatever." Larry doesn't need to, but why not? So then Larry has to go to the bathroom. the bathroom is occupied. The guy comes out. He's not in a wheelchair, even though he's supposed to be wheelchair. I don't fucking know. And Larry confronts him. You wait. It's a callback to another. I don't give a shit. Larry, just let the guy was leaving. Jesus Christ! You just came back from heaven. Marilyn Monroe is waiting to bang you. You have this new leash on life, and you want to stop guys coming out of the bathroom to whatever. Could have been a 7-3. It's 7-4. All right, that's it for this episode. I also noticed our previous episode was the season 5, episode 1, the opener for the season, and this was the closer. I mean, I don't know how to blow y'all's minds anymore. I don't know. Anyway, that fucking sucked. Anyway, so 7-4. That means for the season now he is 39-45. Excuse me. 39-45. Well done, Larry. Don't forget this season of XMAS Enthusiasm is brought to you by Cheetos. Cheetos, fuck you. We know you eat them. See you next time, everybody.